It was the last full week of April 2017, and Ray Starling, Special Assistant to the President for Ag Trade, and Food Assistance, had just received some important news from his boss Gary Cohen, President Trump's director of the National Economic Council.
We have it on good authority that the President is going to terminate NAFTA this Friday. The lawyers are working on the language, and you just need to get prepared for that.
Starling knew that terminating NAFTA could have very negative impacts for U.S. farmers. However, few people knew that such a decision from President Trump was imminent. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue had just been confirmed the prior day, but both Starling and Perdue knew they needed to get information to the President.
I knew, how to navigate the West Wing. I was going to take him to the Oval Office, and we were going to sneak in and talk the President out of withdrawing from NAFTA. That was our plan.
Reince Priebus was the President's chief of staff at the time. He stopped the pair and advised they could not just stop by to see the President without an appointment. However, the doors of the Oval Office soon opened, and Starling and Perdue had their chance. The pair produced a color-coded map of the counties President Trump had carried in the 2016 presidential election, and Secretary Perdue shared the potential impact with the President.
And he says, if you terminate NAFTA without something else being in place, these are the people, and he circled the Midwest and the reddest, most central part of the country. He said, these are the people you're going to be hurting.
Meanwhile, Starling stepped outside the Oval Office to make quick calls to others in the West Wing who could come support their cause.
And by the time this meeting ended, there had to be 15 to 20 people standing inside the Oval Office. And by the time the meeting ended, the President basically said, I'm really glad you all came in here. We're going to reconsider this decision.
Starling shares the story in his recently released book, Farmers versus Foodies. He says few people know how close the country was to losing the important trade deal.
By sneaking the Secretary into the Oval Office, we had essentially changed the course of history, at least insofar as it related to terminating that particular trade agreement on that particular week.
Today, Starling is General Counsel for the North Carolina Chamber of Commerce and speaks and consults with groups on topics related to agriculture. Andrew McCrae, Raleigh, North Carolina.